Hey there, it's Vicki Howell, and I am excited to show you how to knit mitered squares with this really nice center line. This is a really easy technique. Some people have told me that they're freaked out by learning mitered squares, but it's really easy. That's only a 2-row repeat, and they're fun to make and also kind of sculptural because they come together before your eyes. All right, so we're just going to be making one of these. I'm going to show you how to make one, so just pretend it's that. We're going to start with an odd number of stitches. So I am showing you this because this is one of the block choices that we're using for the Seasons Feelings scarf make along. And so for us, that means that we are casting on 31 stitches. But if you are working on another project, the same tutorial will work. Just follow the number that's in your pattern. Okay, so you're going to cast on using any method that makes you happy. Maybe not the E-wrap method, but you know, long tail, single tail, knit cast on. You get my gist. All right, from here, we're working a setup row, and this will be a wrong side row. And really the only purpose is to get our stitch marker where it needs to be. So we're going to knit, for us, because we're working with 31 stitches, we're going to knit 15. So if you're working with a different amount of stitches, you're going to, the odd number, that odd little stitch is your center stitch. So if you take away that, you'll have an even number, a number that can be that is divisible by 2. So you want to knit whatever that is, whatever half of that is. So for us, that's 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, and then once we've knit 15, we want to purl the next stitch. And on this stitch, we want to place the stitch marker. So you need a removable stitch marker for this, or a safety pin, just something that you can take on and off. And you want to place it on that actual stitch. So you can place it right here, or since you're going to be using it on the right side, you can also place it so that it's facing that way. It doesn't actually matter. Regardless, just make sure that it's on the actual stitch that you just purled. From here, you just knit to the end. Okay, now we have worked our setup row. And the good news is from here on out, there's only a 2-row repeat all the way to the end. So every right side, from here on out, we are going to be working our decrease. Now for this particular method of mitered square, we're going to be working a double decrease, which is why we get that really nice center line. So we are going to begin by just knitting. And this is a garter stitch piece, so every row will be knit except for that center stitch. And you want to knit to 1 stitch before the marker. Or before the marked stitch is probably a better way to say that. Okay, so we're right there. So now we're going to work this double decrease. The abbreviation for this particular decrease is STKP. So what that means is we need to slip the next 2. We want to slip them knitwise, which means entering in from the front, and we're slipping them together at the same time. So in front of the second stitch on the left-hand needle, slide those 2 right on over. And what that does is get them oriented in the way that we need them to be for the final step. More on that in a second. Then we want to knit the next stitch. And now, this is why we needed these facing this way. We're going to insert our left-hand needle through the from the back to front to pass those 2 stitches over. And that creates our double decrease, and you can see it's stacked right on top of the purl from our setup row. That is the beginning of your center line. Now from here, you always want your marker to be on that center stitch, but honestly, at this point, you could even remove it completely, or you could just keep it down here. Either way, it's going to be really clear where that center stitch is. So from there, you're just going to knit all the way to the end. And you have just decreased 2 stitches. Okay, we've completed our right side, so we're going to flip it over for our wrong side, and this is what you will do to work every wrong side for the entirety of your mitered square. We're working in garter stitch, so that means that we're going to continue knitting on the wrong side, but only until we get to that marked stitch. You might remember from our setup row that we want to make sure to purl that one to keep the integrity of that clean center line intact. So if you didn't move your marker up, as I did not, you might have to flip over and look again. So I'm there, so I'm going to purl that stitch, and then from there just knit to the end. And those are your repeats. So again, that's knit every stitch to 1 stitch before the marker or 1 stitch before that center stitch. It'll become clearer and clearer as you work along, as you see those stacked stockinette stitches, or knit stitches rather. You do that on the bottom, so you do that on the right side, 1 stitch before the center stitch. You're going to do your double decrease, and then work the rest to the end and knit. And then on the wrong side, knit every stitch to the marked stitch, purl the marked stitch, knit all the way to the end. You'll continue that until you get to your last 3 stitches, and then I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so we have repeated our rows 1 and 2 all the way to the end. We have our last 3 stitches. There's really nothing new to see here. I just wanted you to have the visual of what this square will ultimately look like. And we end with just a row that's only the decrease. So that means slip 2, knit 1, pass these 2 over. And then from there, cut our yarn. I did that ahead of time. And then you would just feed it through like you would if you were doing a bind off of any form. And there you have it, friends, your mitered square. If you have any questions, please just post them in the comments section and I will get back to you. Thanks.